Yo, YouTube, what's good with y'all, man? It's your boy Q back at y'all with another video. Like, comment, share, subscribe, man. Y'all know the vibes, man. We got some breaking news, man. Trae Young of the Atlanta Hawks, man, has just been traded to the Washington Wizards, man, for Corey Kisper and CJ McCollum, man. Let's just get into it, man, because I have a lot to say about this trade. Now, um, we all know that during the offseason, the Atlanta Hawks didn't offer Trae Young a contract, which I thought was pretty strange because, he's arguably been their best player in franchise history, honestly. Arguably. You know what I mean? Arguably. He leads the franchise in assists, and he also leads the franchise in points, I believe. Can't remember. But really, really good player, man. Four-time All-Star since he's been in Atlanta. Took them to a Eastern Conference Finals 5 years ago, but they didn't offer him a contract, man. And I thought that was pretty strange. With the resurgence of Jalen Johnson this season, I seen him drop 40 points on multiple occasions this year. So it seems to me like they are leaning towards Jalen Johnson and building around him for the future, which, you know what I'm saying, is understandable, considering Trae Young's defensive deficiencies and whatnot. But I just think that the Atlanta Hawks got bamboozled, man, by a franchise in the Washington Wizards who is known for getting finessed. You know what I mean? This is a team in the Washington Wizards we're talking about here that gave Bradley Beal a no trade clause. You know what I'm saying? And I get that they wanted to move on from Trae Young. He hasn't really been, great this season. You know what I'm saying? And he's been hurt, and both sides were working together to, figure something out as far as this trade goes, man. And I think that Trae Young had the Washington Wizards on his list of destinations, surprisingly. You know what I mean? But if you're the Atlanta Hawks, man, I just think for a four-time All-Star in Trae Young and a guy that's been like basically your best player for some years now, only up until this point. Now that Jalen Johnson is actually playing, you know, great basketball right now, but we still have to see it consistently moving forward. You know what I mean? They trade Trae Young, man, and they trade him for a bag of chips, man, and a soda. You know what I mean? I mean, you guys, when Luka Doncic got traded to the Lakers, you know what I mean, for what was it, Anthony Davis and a first round pick and what's his name, Max Christie. I complained about that deal. You know what I mean? But I think this deal is way worse, man. There were no picks involved in this deal. Especially for a team in Washington where they have a lot of young players on the team right now, and the Atlanta Hawks couldn't even get one first round pick out of these guys, man. They ended up with Corey Kisper. I'm gonna say this again, Corey Kisper, a guy that can just shoot the ball. You know what I mean? Kind of like a, I can't even say he's a Duncan Robinson type because Duncan Robinson's better than Corey Kisper. You know what I'm saying? Um, CJ McCollum. You know what I mean? He's. Let's just look into, man, let's just look into CJ McCollum, man. CJ McCollum, he's been okay this season, but I don't think he's somebody that the Atlanta Hawks are gonna be able to use moving forward to get them over that hump, man. Because the Atlanta Hawks currently sitting at 17-21 right now on the season, um, and my only concern with the Atlanta Hawks doing this trade is who's your primary facilitator now? Is it gonna be Dyson Daniels? Is it gonna be Jalen Johnson? I know Jalen Johnson can get assists from time to time, but is that something that you're gonna want him to be focused on? Because I really do feel like him as a scorer and as a rebounder, that's more valuable to the Atlanta Hawks. You know what I'm saying? So who's going to be the primary facilitator on that team now that Trae Young is gone? You know what I'm saying? But surprisingly enough, they played better without Trae Young on the floor this year. You know what I mean? With the resurgence of Jalen Johnson. So you just never know. But let's look into this article though, man. So Trae Young reportedly traded to the Wizards from the Hawks. Um, here's the details, y'all. The Atlanta Hawks are trading four-time NBA All-Star Trae Young to the Washington Wizards for C.J. McCollum and Corey Kispert. I mean, that's well. Before we even dive into these numbers or whatnot, let's just look at C.J. McCollum's stats on the season. You know, then McCollum is basically a 19 point per game scorer on a team like the Washington Wizards, man. A team where you should be able to score 20 to 25 points a night on this team, man. I mean, it's the Washington Wizards we're talking about here. But CJ McCollum is 34 years old. You know what I mean? I just think they could have went younger. They could have gotten a lot more for Trae Young than what they got, man. I just think it's a bad trade for the Atlanta Hawks, man. I get that they wanted to get rid of him or whatever the case may be, man, but I just think they could have went about it a whole different way. But the Hawks are poised to turn the page to a new era with the emergence of Jalen Johnson and others, bringing a much more fluid style of play around their wings and depth. CJ McCollum serves as a valuable plug-and-play veteran while holding a $30 million expiring deal. I don't like this at all, man. I really don't. The Trae Young, the trade ends Young's stint as the face of the Hawks and sends the 27-year-old to his preferred destination in the nation's capital. Top Wizards official Michael Winger and Will Dawkins have searched to anchor their young talent in the next step of the team's development. Moving Young also provides Atlanta with added financial flexibility to pursue a larger salary over the next several months, with Dallas Mavericks star Anthony Davis as a prime in-season trade target. Okay, so it seems to me like they have the reason why they dumped Trae Young's salary the way they did is because they have plans of acquiring another player, before the trade deadline. You know what I'm saying? But I really still feel like they could have at least gotten one first round pick for Trae Young. You know what I mean? To be able to help them get that next star they're looking for. I'm just saying, man. I just think a four-time NBA All-Star going for Corey Kispert and C.J. McCollum, two players that are nowhere near on the same level as him, makes absolutely no sense to me, man. C.J. McCollum to me on trade to Atlanta. Loved my time in D.C. Organization was great. To my family and I, Michael Wigner and Will Dawkins did everything they said they would to keep, and they kept their word from the very beginning. Love the city, and they're doing things the right way over. Okay, you know what? I really don't give a damn. But so after the trade, here's Washington's depth looking like. At point, obviously, you got Trae Young. So you got two Traes on this team, Trae Young and Trae Johnson. Trae Young and Bub Carrington is going to be the backup point guard. We got Trae Johnson, A.J. Johnson. You know what I mean? We got Koulibaly at the small forward position. We got Chris Middleton at the power forward position. And we got Alex Sarr. Here's the Hawks depth looking like. So I guess they're going to have C.J. McCollum at point now. Dyson Daniels going to stay at the 2. Zachary Risachet at the 3. Jalen Johnson at the power forward and Okongwu at the 5. And Corey Kispert is going to be coming off the bench apparently. I don't know, man. I just think that they definitely could have gotten more for Trae Young, man. I don't know. That's just me, though, man. Normally, when organizations are trading a player, normally they do what's in the best interest for them. This time around, they did whatever was in the best interest of Trae Young, because Trae Young surprisingly did have the Washington Wizards on his list of destinations he would like to go to, which kind of shocked me because, Trae Young, a guy that's went to the Eastern Conference Finals 5 years ago, going to a team like the Washington Wizards, man, a team that has been pretty much irrelevant for a really, really long time, and it's not a team that really attracts any star players, you know what I'm saying? because basically the only way they're able to get players is through the draft or through trades like this. You know what I mean? When players are disgruntled or a team is ready to move on, because nobody's going to Washington. I was just in Washington a few days ago. They don't have anything going on in Washington. You know what I'm saying? But Trae Young, he surprised me with that being one of his destinations, man. Maybe it's for the bag, who knows? You know, but it kind of makes sense, and then it kind of doesn't, because he did play for the Oklahoma Sooners in college. You know, so he's used to being in a small city, or he's used to being in a small state, or whatever the case may be. So, you know, that I guess that part of it makes sense. But for a guy like Trae Young that's been in Atlanta for some years now, man, you would assume that he would probably want to be on a team like the Heat or the Lakers or somebody like that. But hey, to each his own, man. To each his own. But Trae Young is gone. Like I said, if you ask me who won this trade, man, you know, moving forward, depending on what the Hawks do moving forward, as far as maybe being able to trade for Anthony Davis or somebody like that, will determine whether or not they won or lost this trade. But my only question to the Washington Wizards is, what is the plan here with Trae Young? You know what I'm saying? What's the plan? What's really the plan? Because realistically speaking, I still don't think the Washington Wizards are going to be a good team. That's just me. I don't think they're going to be a good team. I don't think they're going to be winning anything anytime soon still with Trae Young. But Trae Young is entering his prime, and I guess if you want to keep asses in the seats, I guess that's one way to go about it. You know what I mean? Get Trae Young in here, and he'll at least make the basketball games a little bit more exciting for the fans, I guess. But if you're trying to win, you know what I mean, moving forward, I just don't know if this is the right trade that the Wizards made. But at the same time, though, I can't really blame the Wizards for making this trade, because they gave him away for a bag of peanuts and a water bottle, you know. So I see it on both sides, man. But right now I'm leaning towards the Wizards winning this trade, though. You know what I'm saying? Because if they can re-sign Trae Young, which they probably can because he wanted to go there, you never know, man. But that's pretty much it, man. Like, comment, share, subscribe, man. Thank y'all for checking out the channel. And y'all let me know how y'all feel about the Washington Wizards, man, trading for Trae Young, and the Hawks basically essentially just giving him away for nothing, man. You know what I mean? Y'all let me know how y'all feel about it in the comments, man. I'm going to catch y'all on the next video, though, man. Peace.